So I'm here today for a Think Chat with Zachary Hill, our Chief Technology Officer. Hello, Zach.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, buddy. We might have smiles on our faces, but today we're talking about a pretty serious topic, security and architecture reviews. As you know, if you run a business or you read the news ever, cybercrime is on the rise and has been over the past few years, and most organizations have a lot of cyber vulnerabilities they may not even know about, and that's been made exponentially worse in the last few weeks with a lot of organizations scrambling to go remote quickly and put a workforce at home. So I'm talking to Zach today about the importance of reviewing that network. So Zach, why is it a good idea to review your network right now for security, and who should be thinking about that?
Yeah, so one of the things I think right now is everyone's been caught a little flat-footed, with this whole pandemic, and it's been a lot of stress and quick implementation, I think, of onboarding of policy for remote work and onboarding of the technology for remote work. And I think that's ultimately resulted in, some overworked IT folks and engineers who've implemented things as fast as they can to make sure the business can actually operate and work. But ultimately, sometimes that results in mistakes or perhaps not putting enough planning or effort into the security or the efficiency of that implementation.
Yeah, so I know we've put together, this is something that we do anyway for our clients and so on a regular basis, but I know you've kind of honed a package and a process to quite quickly look at architecture and the security and the vulnerabilities that might be there. So why don't you walk me through just the step-by-step about how you conduct a review?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we really focus on is in those kind of security reviews is looking from the outside in, really focused on, let's work our way inward, kind of to your juicy center, if you will. And ultimately, we take a look at things like, your external footprint, things like your firewalls or your edge security. We take a look at how users are actually logging in and signing in and utilizing your network. And then we take a look at, doing some scans with some tools. We utilize Qualys and Rapid Fire are two of the tools that we typically will utilize to kind of get an idea of, where maybe some gaps or vulnerabilities that may exist on your network that could be more susceptible because people are remoting in more often today.
So what kind of things do those tools uncover, and what's the output of that? So if an organization spent an hour with you to go through the review, ran the scans, looked at the outside in, as you mentioned it, what do you deliver to them, or what might be something that comes out of that?
We really focus on having actual results. So the report that we kind of produce is what I would say is very to the point. Ultimately, it's small changes that can be made immediately by either your team or certainly by us if you want our assistance. And then it's actually what are the maybe small projects or small changes that you can be making to have that immediate impact. And then also what are some of the longer term changes that you could be implementing to really focus in and hone your security stance.
So you can put together kind of a short-term roadmap of projects that would put them in a much better state, but then also perhaps help them get set up for longer-term safety and better security too.
Absolutely, and ultimately, what we find in those is sometimes it's as easy as a checkbox. Someone missed the checkbox, and that's like a real quick implementation. And sometimes it takes a few hours to go roll out multi-factor authentication or something along those lines.
That's awesome. So if I'm watching this, what questions should I be asking myself or my team, or how would I get started in thinking about? I mean, I know they should just call you, but what else? What are some things that I should start to think about?
So I would certainly be asking my team, have we done an outside in kind of review? Have we just taken a look and taken a step back and actually looked at our edge and our perimeter and worked our way in? Do we have multi-factor authentication in place for our users who are remotely connected?
So what's that? What does that mean?
Multi-factor authentication is essentially, today you might log in with your email address and your password. Multi-factor is a challenge response to make sure that you are who you say you are. So that way, if my password is compromised, the attacker needs not only that, but they need access to my cell phone, for example, or something along those lines, because it will send me a text message with a code to go input as well. I think the other thing to think about right now is endpoint security and mobile device management. Making sure your devices are secured, right? The devices are now, used to be kind of at your office, and now they might be at someone's home as they're working from home. Making sure that those systems are solid. What we found a lot is people tend to put systems in place that automate the deployment of those, and sometimes they don't catch everything. So doing an audit, make sure that they are catching everything, and they are being deployed to all of those systems. Or perhaps you don't have them deployed today, and that is something you should be considering implementing. And then I think the last thing as we move into this remote workforce is, have some conversations about what's known as a zero trust network. Zero trust network is essentially not trusting any device or any user until they've proven themselves trustworthy. That's things like making sure encryption's on, making sure virus scan has ran recently, making sure they're within a geographic location that you approve of. Those are the types of policies that you can enact with zero trust. They're a little bit more advanced, certainly, but they allow for a really impactful remote workforce.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So, ultimately, I think the message is that your organization is likely to have some cyber vulnerabilities that you don't know about, especially if you've just gone rapidly, out into a remote workforce that you don't usually have. It's a good idea to review that network. That actually doesn't take a whole lot of time. It sounds like around about an hour or so through a conversation and an architecture review and running some scans. And from there, you can get into some easier to manage projects that could make you more secure.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, I learned something today. Well, thanks, man. And I know that we're offering the opportunity to talk to us about those kind of things. So I appreciate you finding time to do that proactive work, as well as I know you're working a lot with our clients right now. So I'll let you get back to that. But have a great day, man. Thanks for spending some time with me.
Thanks, Tim.
See you, bud.